Brittney Griner, the WNBA's woke trifecta.
Griner similarly calls Caitlin Clark trash.
She's a woman, ? That is the leftist propaganda machine.
I'm going to say something off the court. Lemon pepper wings.
It finally happened. The moment millions of fans have been anticipating ever since Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court with all eyes on her. The masks are coming off and the truth is getting louder, especially when it's caught on video.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Brittney Griner, the so-called face of social justice in the WNBA, just got exposed in real time. And what she allegedly said after fouling out of a game against Caitlin Clark isn't just ugly, it's revealing.
It sure looks like she says, trash effing white girl. They can't stand the straight white girls. And by the way, they don't like white fans either.
Trash talking happens in sports, but this crossed the line. And worse, the league's silence says everything. While Griner's now viral comment, one many lip readers claim included trash effing white girls, made headlines.
Footage has surfaced. Couple different take on this clip as well as to what she actually said. Some people said she didn't call Caitlin Clark a effing white girl. Some people say that she said what a effing whack call. At the end of the day,
the WNBA's response has been nothing but crickets. Meanwhile, the same league is busy investigating Indiana Fever fans for alleged racist heckling with no proof.
Inquiring minds want to know, is the WNBA about to open up an investigation on this? I mean, currently they say they're investigating Indiana Fever fans for quote-unquote racist noises, slurs, all of these supposed things that nobody can seem to prove.
Do you see the double standard yet? When it's Caitlin Clark, every foul she draws is overhyped. When it's Griner allegedly hurling racial insults, it's nothing to see here. This isn't just a bad look for the league, it's proof of deep bias. And fans aren't stupid. They know exactly what's going on.
By the way, the whole league is ate up with that. The very player that knowingly had cannabis oil on them, they got busted. That Biden traded the Michael Jordan, I mean, like literally the greatest of all time. If it was a straight white basketball player, she'd be rotting in Russian prison right now.
Which if Caitlin Clark had done, I mean, she would have gotten suspended for weeks or months at a time.
This is about more than one outburst. This is about a pattern. Caitlin Clark has been elbowed, shoved, disrespected, and sidelined both on and off the court by players and even her own coaches.
Physical wear and tear on Caitlin Clark. I'm not surprised that 2 weeks into the season, she's already got an injury.
Caitlin Clark was playing off the ball a lot in the Atlanta Dream game. Caitlin Clark was simply removed from the equation.
Stephanie White is ruining Caitlin Clark. How do we have the best point guard in the world, the best passer in the league, and we're taking the ball out of her hands?
But why? Because she doesn't fit the league's narrative. She doesn't play identity politics. She doesn't whine. She just plays. And that's what threatens them most. In a league desperate for relevance, Caitlin's drawing crowds and breaking records, while veterans like Griner are busy complaining and showing the world what bitterness really looks like.
But it all depends on who you're going to be facing. You have to utilize the best player on the team. You don't see Steph Curry off the ball much. You don't see Steph Curry sitting in the corner like a duckling, bro, waiting on he's get the ball in his hand and he does what he does.
What happened with Brittney Griner is just the latest example of how far the WNBA will go to protect its favorites while vilifying the one star actually saving the league. They'll lecture fans about respect and tolerance while ignoring clear evidence of hostility from their own players.
The WNBA is ostensibly investigating fans in the Indiana fan base for alleged racism. And they've got an actual player in Brittney Griner who appears to engage in a racist phrase on the bench.
What action is being taken against her for this blatant racism? Of course, they're not going to take any action.
Type CC100 if you're a real Caitlin Clark fan. They'll praise diversity until someone like Caitlin Clark shows up and steals the spotlight without their permission. And now the footage doesn't lie. It proves exactly what so many of us have been saying all along. This league doesn't just ignore Caitlin Clark, they resent her.
you have Caitlin Clark on your basketball team. Now, granted, all of the other players definitely played a heavy contribution to winning the game, but what is going on, man?
The controversy exploded the moment Brittney Griner fouled out during a heated matchup against Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever.
And it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul.
Cameras caught her walking off the court, visibly frustrated, and what came next shocked everyone. As she muttered something under her breath, viewers quickly picked up on what appeared to be the phrase, "trash effing white girls."
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
That clip went viral within hours. No one needed professional lip readers. What she said looked clear, and yet the league, the media, and her defenders instantly scrambled to bury the moment, claiming it was misinterpreted or taken out of context.
People like Jamel Hill, for example, who got triggered by Riley Gaines calling this out. Jamel Hill says that, I get that your whole personality is caught up in stuff like this, so you don't care about spreading misinformation. The foul call made on her had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. It was because she fouled Natasha Howard. She clearly says trash and effing whack call.
But the damage was done, and the truth was captured for everyone to see. This wasn't just a fluke moment of anger. It exposed how protected Brittney Griner really is. While she was allowed to walk away without a single consequence, the league was busy launching an investigation, not into her, but into the fans who allegedly heckled her. There was no video proof, no audio, no verified reports. Yet that investigation got more attention from the WNBA leadership than a viral video of one of their star players possibly making a racist, targeted comment.
Why would we not have the same standard for a black basketball player in the WNBA as for a white basketball player in the WNBA? If, as the WNBA claims, they are deeply committed to combating racism, the WNBA, to my knowledge, guys, has not issued any response at all to this video that we shared. Brittney Griner, to my knowledge, has not been asked about this at all.
That kind of selective discipline tells you everything you need to know about how the league operates and who it shields. The hypocrisy is staggering. Had Caitlin Clark said anything remotely similar about a black player, there would have been immediate outrage. She would have been dragged by every media outlet, fined, suspended, and branded a racist without hesitation.
If Caitlin Clark or white WNBA player said trash fucking black girl, I don't think any of you would doubt at all that they would be suspended for multiple games, multiple weeks, maybe months, and it would be a major story that was covered by everybody in sports. Why does that not happen?
But when Griner makes a statement that many are calling racially charged, it's brushed off as competitive emotion. The silence from the WNBA is deafening. Not a single statement, not a single consequence. Just more evidence that this league will protect its favorites no matter what they say, even if it means alienating the very fans keeping the WNBA afloat. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA was supposed to be a turning point, a surge of fresh talent, sold-out arenas, and a revival of interest in a league that struggled for decades. But instead of being welcomed, she's been met with hostility, indifference, and outright aggression.
This is a business that has never been profitable in its history, and it's now abundantly clear that nothing can ever change that. I mean, it is a fatally flawed concept. She's the reason the WNBA just won the lottery. Without Caitlin Clark, nobody cares about any of these players or the league. This was by far the best year the WNBA has ever had.
From game one, she's been knocked down, physically targeted, and dismissed by veteran players who seem more bothered by her spotlight than inspired by her game. The message has been loud and clear. You're not one of us, and you never will be.
There's been an alliance among WNBA players. They thought they were hard on Caitlin Clark last year. There's not going to be cheap shots this year, but there's going to be a physicality to the way that they defend her. Not in a cheap way, but just a physical.
What's more disturbing is how that resentment is being institutionalized. Referees ignore blatant fouls against Clark. Coaches pull her during critical stretches, even when she's the top scorer or playmaker on the floor. And the WNBA leadership, they say nothing. They promote unity and empowerment, but are completely silent when their brightest stars being bullied game after game.
The referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. They have an agenda against Caitlin Clark.
It's not just disrespect. It's a calculated effort to dim her light, to make her prove herself in a league that should be lifting her up, not holding her down. The media isn't much better. While Clark breaks viewership records and fills stadiums, headlines focus on anything but her impact. They'll dissect her reactions, twist her interviews, and constantly question whether she deserves the attention she's getting. Meanwhile, players who actively antagonize her get painted as passionate veterans defending their turf. The narrative is flipped. Not because it's accurate, but because admitting Caitlin is good for the league would mean confronting the insecurities of those who resent her presence.
Out with these political statements or these social statements, and I guess in hopes of not getting the shit beat out of her on the court. I mean, honestly, she's almost silent when it comes to really political statement. I mean, she's been silent.
And yet, despite it all, Caitlin Clark keeps showing up. She keeps playing. She doesn't retaliate with dirty fouls or bitter interviews. She leads with her game. That alone makes her a threat to the status quo. Her discipline, her lack of drama, and her undeniable talent are challenging a culture in the WNBA that has long favored politics over performance. And the league's cold shoulder, its failure to stand by her, isn't just disappointing. It's a public confession. The WNBA doesn't know how to handle someone who actually raises the bar.
This league and its players know how good Caitlin Clark is, and the true test of greatness for her is, can she find a way to adapt? That's probably going to be the most interesting part of this journey here in season number 2.
Let's talk about Brittney Griner, the WNBA's untouchable. The player Joe Biden traded a Russian arms dealer for, the one who became a political symbol more than an athlete. Ever since her return from a Russian prison, she's been positioned as a martyr, a figure of resistance, and a representative of everything the league wants to market. But behind the branding lies a dangerous reality. She's treated like she's above accountability. No matter what she says or does, the WNBA bends the rules to protect her image, even if it comes at the expense of integrity, fairness, and their most valuable rising star.
You've got somebody who is obviously the most popular player in basketball. You got somebody that I would argue may be a top 5 most popular athlete in the United States of America. All right, you got this athlete in a league that nobody's been watching, never turned a profit, and your system is broken against that team.
Griner isn't just a player anymore. She's a political statement. She checks every identity box the league loves to elevate. Black, female, LGBTQ+. That shouldn't matter in sports, but in the WNBA, it's currency. And the league has cashed in. Her return was used for PR, her profile boosted by sympathetic media, and her narrative carefully curated. But the moment she crosses the line, allegedly using a racially charged slur caught on video, the same machine that amplified her suddenly goes silent. No suspension, no fine, no formal investigation. It's as if the league is afraid to admit that their chosen symbol of empowerment might actually be part of the problem. The WNBA's double standard is so blatant it's insulting. This is the same league that parades around with no room for hate slogans, runs anti-racism campaigns, and publicly investigates fans for unproven slurs. And yet, when a prominent player is caught possibly making a racist remark against a white athlete, the league has nothing to say. This isn't just bias, it's cowardice. It proves that their commitment to equality only runs one way. They claim to fight for justice, but that justice is selective. If roles were reversed and Clark had uttered anything close to what Griner allegedly said, she'd be benched, fined, and publicly crucified. No questions asked.
Of course, the other day, Angel Reese claims that she was a victim of racial things being said or heard, which a lot of people have come out with what the noise actually was. and it's been disproven. The WNBA launched an investigation on Indiana Fever fans. Nothing has come out of it. The WNBA, in fact, one journalist said, may or may not ever disclose the verdict on the situation, which doesn't shock me, because I'm sure they've dug in and they're like, oh crap, we've got no proof of anything. All the while, we sit back and watch Caitlin Clark fall victim to different things all the time. We keep being told it's not about race.
This silence isn't just about protecting Griner. It's about protecting the league's political agenda. Griner is useful to them. Clark, on the other hand, disrupts that narrative. She doesn't rely on identity politics. She doesn't play the victim. She wins games, draws crowds, and shifts public attention by simply being excellent. That's a threat to the system the WNBA has built, a system that's more concerned with posturing than performance. Clark's rise exposes the league's hypocrisy. They want equality, but only when it benefits their chosen image. They want fans, but only the ones who agree with their politics. Caitlin Clark represents merit, competition, and apolitical greatness. That's why they hate her. That's why they let players like Griner tear her down without consequence. And that's why more and more fans are waking up to the truth. This league doesn't stand for unity. It stands for control. The WNBA had a golden opportunity with Caitlin Clark, an athlete who could have single-handedly changed the trajectory of a struggling league. She brought in sold-out arenas, record-breaking ratings, and legions of new fans who never cared about women's basketball before. But instead of protecting that asset, the league chose bitterness over business. They stood by as veterans disrespected her, as refs swallowed their whistles, and as the media downplayed her contributions. Worse, they remained silent when one of their own, Brittney Griner, possibly crossed a line that would have ended anyone else's career. That silence isn't just neglect, it's intentional.
WNBA referees have an agenda against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
Definitely for the second game of the season, the referees swallowed their freaking whistles.
1.5, 1.7, 2.1, however many people tuned in to watch this game, they all came out with the same, the referees just aren't up to the task.
What the WNBA fails to realize is that fans aren't blind. They saw the video, they heard the double standards, and more importantly, they noticed who the league chose to defend and who they left exposed. When Clark is fouled hard, it's tough defense. When she's elbowed, it's part of the game. But when she breaks records, it's dismissed as hype. And now even when she's the apparent target of a racial insult, the league won't lift a finger to protect her. That's not just unfair, it's toxic. And it's exactly why the league continues to alienate the very audience that Clark worked so hard to bring in. What's happening here isn't just personal, it's systemic. It reveals a league more loyal to agendas than to fairness, more invested in identity than in excellence. And Brittney Griner's behavior is just the symptom. The real disease is a culture that punishes success when it doesn't fit a specific mold. Caitlin Clark represents a threat, not because of her words, but because of her greatness. And that's what's so uncomfortable for the WNBA to admit. Her success exposes years of complacency, politics over performance, and the uncomfortable truth that the league needs her more than she needs it. So here we are. The proof is in the footage, in the silence, and in the crowd's reaction. The fans have spoken, and they're not backing down. They want real basketball. They want accountability. And most of all, they want Caitlin Clark to be treated with the respect she's earned. If the WNBA refuses to step up, fans will keep calling it out, louder than ever. Because this isn't just about one game or one player. This is about principle. And right now, Caitlin Clark stands alone on the high ground, while the rest of the league keeps digging.